Rhea. Rhea. Come play games with me. You've been in your tree all day. Time to play games. You can't hide from me. Man, this camera's always doing me dirty. I always have to stand up here for a couple seconds and hope it starts focusing the right way. It's always trying to auto-correct the focus. It has a manual focus, but I always forget to change it when I'm recording something else, so then it ends up being blurry anyway. So I just leave it on autofocus, and every once in a while, I'll just try to auto-adjust, and it'll always screw me over in the middle of a video. The woodworking videos I do, they're the worst, because I'll be looking right at the camera, I can see the screen, everything's clear, and as soon as I go to turn and do something, all of a sudden it'll go blurry, and I have no idea. I'll turn back around, it's clear again. It's the most annoying thing. I got an iPhone 15 finally this weekend. And it takes me forever to upgrade anything. My last phone that I just traded in for the 15 was the iPhone 11. But you know, I thought it'd been long enough since I've upgraded. Hey, maybe I can actually use this iPhone 15 to start recording videos instead of this camera that always goes blurry on me. So I got it and tried it out, and you'd think with technology today that you could just sit there and easily transfer videos off the iPhone onto the computer. Well, there's all these processes that I would have had to do that. And I did sit there and mess with it for a few hours, and I ended up getting nowhere. I tried like 4 or 5 different methods and they all failed me. And then I finally got a test video off the iPhone onto the computer, but then when I went to go put it in the video editing program, it said it didn't recognize the code. And if I wanted it to, I had to pay $5 for it to unlock this code. So I paid the $5, and then when I did that, it recognized it. It could play the audio, but all the video was just a black screen for the whole thing. So there was really no way to do it unless I recorded video on my iPhone, uploaded it to YouTube privately, then downloaded it back onto the computer, and then put it in the video editing program. Then it would actually work. I don't know, I'm not very up to date with technology. Maybe if I was like these guys that had to get the new iPhone coming out every time, then I might understand them a little bit better. You ever seen these guys? They'll get in a fight in the line if they don't get one. Isn't it funny how enthusiasts from different hobbies act? I was driving home in my C7 Corvette the other day, and then coming down the road the other direction was another C7 Corvette of a different color. And he flashed his lights at me. He's like, hey, we both got a C7 Corvette. So he just started flashing his lights at me. Oh, okay. Hi. How's it going? I mean, what if game collectors were like that? I'd be finding all the female collectors, you know what I'm saying? Hey, we both have Super Bowling for Super Nintendo. You want to flash each other? So anyways, yeah, the camera. I'm just gonna keep using this one. This one is what's been working for me for so long. I just gotta deal with it being annoying and being blurry sometimes. I'm already mad I spent $5 on the program for it not to work. I could have used that for a manual or something I needed. But anyway, today we have 5 games that we'll be adding to the collection. Let's check them out. And the first game up is The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie. Great Circus Mystery was developed and published by Capcom, releasing for the Super Nintendo in 1994. Mickey and Minnie go to the circus and everyone's gone, so they set out on a quest to see what happened. Circus Mystery is a platformer where you can play as Mickey and or Minnie and make your way through the levels by changing out your suit. You have a sweeper suit that can vacuum enemies up, a safari suit that allows you to climb walls and swing on attach points, and finally a western wear suit. With the western wear suit, you'll have a cork gun to shoot enemies, and you can also charge up your horse to charge forward. Whenever you die in a level, you restart right where you died, or very close to it, even if you get a game over. So beating the game is incredibly easy. which I did, not expecting to. The game looks excellent, and I really enjoyed the music throughout the game. The controls are excellent as well, making the gameplay a lot of fun. For hardcore gamers, this game doesn't present much of a challenge. Even the final boss was a breeze. But if you're looking for an easy, enjoyable platformer to play, Great Circus Mystery may be right up your alley. This game is what I expected Beauty and the Beast to be like being a Disney game. I recommend giving this game a chance if you like platformers. The Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie is game number 80 for the collection, and I have $60 in trade for it. And at $60, that brings our total up to $16,522 for the Super Nintendo Complete in Box Quest. And the next game up is Hammerlock Wrestling. Hammerlock Wrestling was developed and published by Jaleco, slamming into stores in 1994. I'm just gonna say it up front, I'm not a fan of this game at all. It's such a strange game that I just can't get used to. First of all, it has these animations when you go to make a move. The screen you're looking at to play the game moves around for these animations. And most of the animations are just a guy laid out on the ground. The screen is jumping all over the place, so you can barely tell what's going on. Second, everything is delayed. The controls are delayed. Everything looks and feels slow. The gameplay just isn't a lot of fun. Another thing that's weird is when you attack your opponent, you more often than not take yourself down with them. Now we're both on the floor? What is this? Every wrestler has their own moves, but all the button combinations are the same for each wrestler. The actual visuals are decent, but as mentioned, the jumping screens takes away from that. There's hardly any sound in the game. Music during the gameplay or some more sound effects would have helped the game a little bit. Overall, this game is not my cup of tea. Some people might enjoy this style of gameplay, but I'll stick with Saturday Night Slam Masters. Try again? No. Hammerlock Wrestling is game number 81 for the collection, and I also have $60 in trade for this game. And at $60, that brings our total up to $16,582 for the SNES Quest. And the next game up is Vortex. Vortex was developed by Agronaut Software and published by Electrobrain. It morphed onto store shelves in 1994. Your mission is to collect core segments that scientists have protected from the enemy. To do that, you take control of what the game calls a morphing battle system. The battle system can morph into 4 different vehicles. You have the Walker that is a mech and has 4 interchangeable weapons on him. He has 3 forward speeds, neutral, and reverse. He can also jump. There's also a hard shell which can absorb a lot of damage, and it has a powerful electro bomb. A land burner which is fast but hard to control, and a sonic jet which can fly. The ideas in the game are really clever, but the game feels unfinished. The visuals are plain and boring. There's also extreme slowdown in the game as well. Sometimes you'll be being blasted by an enemy and can't even tell where it's coming from. The controls are clunky and feel unresponsive at times. The best thing the game has going for it is the music. If the game had better visuals and wasn't so choppy, it would be a pretty fun game. Another nice feature the game has is a password system. When you get a game over, you go back to the beginning of the game. But after each level, you get a password, so you can just input that and go back to the level you were on. Overall, I see how some people could get some enjoyment out of the game if you can get over the clunkiness and visuals, but it's definitely not a must-play game. Vortex is game number 82 for the collection, and I found it at a local game store for $40. And at $40, that brings our total up to $16,622 for the collection. Next up, we have a pretty uncommon sports game, and that game is NHL 98. NHL 98 was developed and published by EA Sports. It released for the SNES in 1997. Being released so late in the Super Nintendo's lifespan, I expected NHL 98 to be a pretty great hockey game. And for the most part, it's a good game. Starting off, the graphics look really good. The game also runs really smooth without any slowdown or choppiness. NHL 98 is also licensed by the NHL, so it has real teams in it. The only real issues I had with the game is a slight delay in controls and changing characters. You use the B button to change characters to the one closest to the puck, but it doesn't always work correctly. And when it does, there's a delay when taking over that player that can make you miss the puck. There were also a couple instances where the puck didn't go anywhere near the goal when I shot it, even though I was aiming for it. Overall, NHL 98 is a decent hockey game for the SNES. It's not perfect, but it's not a bad choice either. NHL 98 is game number 83 for the collection, and the seller was asking $100. I sent him a best offer of $80 and he accepted. And at $80, that brings our total up to $16,702 for the SNES Complete in Box Quest. And the last game up is Phalanx. Phalanx was developed by Zoom and published by Kimco. It shot onto store shelves in 1992. The story goes, aliens have attacked a planet named Delia 4. After Delia 4 went silent, the battle fortress Midas goes to investigate. After the Midas arrived, it was overwhelmed by an alien attack. So in a last-ditch effort to save the Midas in Delia 4, the captain orders the launch of the A-144 Enforce Fighter, codenamed Phalanx. You have 3 ship speeds to choose from in Phalanx. Each comes in handy at certain times in the game. You'll need the fast ship speed to make it through some of the areas, and a slower speed to make it through the narrow ones. It works really well. The visuals in the game look good, but the game does suffer from some slowdown. There isn't a whole lot of sound effects in the game. Sometimes you're unsure if you're even damaging the enemy. The weapon doesn't make noise when it fires. It only makes noise when it contacts an enemy. I wasn't a big fan of that. The music is as generic as the story, but it's not bad. It's just not great. And I have no idea why they have an old man playing the banjo for the cover art. One thing that's really nice is the game is forgiving. Your ship can take multiple hits and you can replenish your power. On top of that, you have multiple ships before you're taken out completely. When you run out of ships, you get to continue to start the level over. When you run out of continues, it's game over. Overall, Phalanx gets a pass. It's not a pricey game, and it's not a bad game. Phalanx is game number 84 for the collection, and I got it for $80 by bundling it with another game. And at $80, that brings our total up to $16,782 for the Super Nintendo Complete in Box Quest. Let's get these games on the shelf. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe. I'm completing the entire Super Nintendo library, complete in box, right here on this show. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up for Phalanx. Until next time, I'm Gamer Wayne, and thanks for watching.
Hey, subscribe to Gamer Wayne.